hopefully they will learn from that.
And safe sex is always good.
Okay.
Just throwing that in there. I'm not speaking to anyone.
What do you mean safe sex, though? Not getting the girl pregnant?
Sorry, safer.
So is butt sex good?
Safer sex.
Safer sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wrap it up.
Oh, okay. Condom use is what you're advocating.
I think that's a smart move, especially with.
I found the pull-out method's always good.
Oh, was it? Was it good for you? Welcome back to the D2 podcast. My name is Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And
together we're D2.
Where we talk about sports, culture, politics, and other such interesting topics. Today we're going to go a little bit off of our typical road and take a little side drive, if you will.
Take you to a different world.
Yes, I don't know what that meant, but we're going to discuss a little bit about dating in middle age, developing social relationships.
Dating in our 50s. Might as well say it.
I like to maintain like the facade of youth, So as we've matured into our 50s, number one, do you feel much more secure in terms of dating and social relationships?
My answer would be yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I think it's as long as you're realistic, it's like you can be more mature. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of people our age tend not to be realistic.
Yeah. I think it took a while for me to figure that out a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me personally, I was married for a long time.
Yep.
And so I wasn't dating anybody. And then finally I got out of that and decided to start dating a little bit. And, at first you have certain things come, you're 50 something. You are old. You are not going to be able to relate to people.
Right.
All sorts of, you're short. You're, you don't take care of yourself right. Your skin looks all weird. All sorts of, insecurities come out.
Sure.
But then, I guess the more you get into it and then you realize that, in some ways being older is an advantage. It can be looked on as an advantage. There's some things like, obviously there are some younger women out there who think, oh, this is an older guy. You want to stay away from being that old creepy guy, right? But I think in some ways you just got to be who you are.
Right.
And you got to be, if you're 56, just own it. Make no excuses for being 56.
First off, I'd like to say I'm totally okay with being the old creepy guy. That's a title that I willingly. Let's just say I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Here's the old creepy guy belts right here.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. So I've become very comfortable with that moniker.
Uh-huh.
But that's it. I think what happens is like as you get older, you sort of become more comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you've been in your own skin for a long ass time.
Sure.
And so you, at the very least, you accept who you are mostly.
Right.
I think. And I think with a certain comfort with yourself, you are more your natural self with people.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge positive.
I think at this point, in a way, you don't really care too much about things that you used to.
Yeah, you
don't
care less,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so in some ways, I think there's a lot more people that find that attractive, appealing, right?
It could be.
Could be,
yeah.
And then if they don't, then, well, hey.
Yeah, then
you
move on.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, something? We've been through this before.
Yeah,
there's other people. So, that said, now, there's like, we have a sort of our own circle of friends that we have mutual friendships with and people that we know and we hang out with. It seems like a lot of people our age or within our age group seem to have a lot of issues dating.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
I'm sorry.
We can categorize, like, not that everyone's different, right? But we can also just maybe group people into little buckets. so to say. Like these people tend to have issues
Hmm.
finding or going, like they're, you can separate them into different categories.
Yeah.
So like there are people I think that tend to have, they have this intention. They want to find someone for a long-term relationship, but it seems that they always end up going from person to person every
Right.
week, every 2 weeks or so.
Right.
And it
Nothing
doesn't,
lasts.
nothing
Yeah.
lasts
Yeah.
more than a month,
Right.
right? And then there's other people who do find something that lasts more than
For
a
an
month
extended period of time.
or a couple
Yeah.
months at least. Yeah.
Now, I think of that first group who are kind of like still wandering a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
right? What do you think is the primary hindrance or obstacle to actually settling
Uh-huh.
down
Yeah.
into a sort of committed relationship?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very hard for some people to find someone, right?
Hmm.
I think, everyone has that struggle finding someone that, no, finding someone that they feel like they can be, they can enjoy their life with,
Right.
right? I think part of it is, one, some people have problems really determining what they really want.
Yeah.
And another thing is some people have a hard time finding someone that, I mean, they feel like these characteristics are what they want, but actually in reality they kind of, they're not. They fall short. So like for instance, like they might they might try to look for someone who is, they might value height, right? Or they might value um, another characteristic, let's say a musician, or they might like people involved in music. They think
The arts or
there's
something.
something
Yeah.
like that, or it turns out that there's still a wide variety of people, right? And then so, but they're looking for those characteristics, and then they are able to kind of like ignore all the different warning signs that may say this may
Hmm.
not, this is, there's a chance this is probably going to not work out,
Yeah.
because those few things that they want, they just see that and they're going, okay, this person's for me. But then there's all these other things that indicate, probably not. And they just
Yeah.
continue to try to make that for a little bit. And then something happens and that person knows, either one of them breaks it off,
Right.
something happens, and then they move on to the next person.
Let's take a certain sample case person
Okay.
that we're going to create a identity for her. Let's call her Lauren,
Okay.
right? So Lauren is what we sort of identify as a serial dater, right?
Okay.
She seems to she has no problems finding matches on her apps,
Right.
right?
Right.
And Lauren goes on. She's attractive woman in her
Yeah.
middle age, attractive woman,
Sure.
and she has no trouble finding men interested in her initially,
Yeah.
right? But then it seems like there's she'll be really gung ho into each particular guy, but then at some point the guy seems to lose interest or break it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, yeah, something like that happens. Like I said, they they get in, like entranced or charmed by certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and those may not be the most important things.
So do you think she gets too enamored of these guys too quickly?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
So this person, let's say, may be a musician,
Right.
and maybe like, or maybe like an art person,
Mm-hmm.
does great sculptures or something, and wants to, maybe I'll do a little sculpture of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then though, so suddenly that charms her, but then she finds out, hey, this guy has a criminal record, this guy is on parole. doesn't matter, right? And but you should, not saying you can't pursue that, but it's like those are warning signs
Should be
that
red flags.
you should kind of like caution,
Mm-hmm. Right.
be a little cautious. And of course, that is totally like, oh, he's a good person, blah blah blah. Because I think what they want them to be a good person. They
Yeah.
want this to work, and then all these other warning signs suddenly kind of are getting ignored. And then at one point, before long, those certain things blow up in their face or her face or whatever,
Yeah.
and something happens, and then it's over. And it's like that happens like in 2 weeks.
Yeah. It seems to be like, okay, like a recurring experience for her, right? And for Lauren. And at some point, Lauren needs to like be more aware, perhaps take it a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Maybe not be so enthusiastic about a person until they get to until she gets to know that other person better.
Right.
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 But it's like it seems like the same behavior over and over again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes she'll describe someone, and then everyone in the circle of friends will be like, is he the best guy for you? He does seem to have this area that seems a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Maybe take it slow.
Yeah.
But she starts defending him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, at what point as a friend do you just sort of throw up your arms and be like, okay.
Well, I don't, for me, I'm not going to tell her what to do or tell a guy what to do, tell a girl what to do.
Right.
It's up to them. They're adults. They can make their own decisions. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if telling them that this person's trouble for you is the best thing, because every time I've said that,
same thing
they don't listen.
Yeah.
No, the person will never listen. So I think, maybe looking back, that, if I was to do it over again, I would maybe ask them more questions to help guide them, maybe draw their own conclusions to that, or maybe ask them questions to maybe kind of think about different things, like say, what would happen, say, if you were alone with him, and
what if
could you trust him at this point, you think?
What if he breaks his parole? No, I'm kidding. Sort of.
So
what if he starts doing meth again? No, just kidding. No.
Do I join him? No.
No, we make light of it, but it's just the problem is, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, I think a lot of people, they fall into the same habits.
Right.
And it's hard to break. I mean,
it is hard to break.
We've all had problems with sort of going back to what we're comfortable with, and even though it's not good for us.
Sure.
Right. So I get that. But it seems like at a certain point, it's especially as a middle-aged person, you have to sort of take control of your own, destiny here, and be like, okay, I got to break the cycle of the same shit that I've been sort of.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to them, though. I don't even know what, they may be saying they want something out of a relationship, but they may actually really want something else,
So do you think this applies to Lauren? You think
it's possible?
Lauren wants something else.
She may not be looking for, say, a long-term relationship. She may be just looking to kind of make her life exciting. Who knows?
Do you think? I feel like,
or maybe maybe she is wrong in figuring out what she wants. Like, she's looking at different characteristics which may not necessarily reflect that person is gonna be the best for a long-term relationship, as opposed to just having something that's exciting. Maybe, I think all women do that. They look, I mean, not all women, I shouldn't say that, but like, there's a lot of women that say that they want someone, a good person, right?
Right. Okay.
But they really what they're attracted to
Is
is
excitement,
not
quote unquote
necessarily
excitement.
yes, yeah.
Okay, something that
So
turns them on.
yeah,
Okay. To Lauren's credit,
mm-hmm.
it's like I think she is looking for a legitimate, like loving, committed relationship.
Yeah,
Okay. It's just sometimes it's like she gives too much leeway to these people who are showing signs
uh-huh,
that are maybe they aren't that committed,
yeah,
right? Um, okay, well, this is like a story that could be true or not,
yeah,
but there was like an example was like Lauren was really into this guy that she met on an app, and he seemed cool, kind of eccentric, kind of weird and funny and interesting,
sure,
successful, and but he had like some criminal elements in his background, right? And when she was upfront with us and told us, oh, let's call him now Elon. Elon has this criminal history.
Elon.
Yeah,
It's a
and
great name to pick for that
I
person.
Elon's a great name.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
so and I said, oh, okay, sounds interesting. Sounds like a nice guy, but perhaps you should be careful
Yeah.
about really committing and
Mm-hmm.
being into this guy yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she was just like, oh, you don't know him, whatever.
Yeah.
And then of course she goes traveling with him on vacation somewhere.
Yeah.
And she comes back the following day saying, oh, he weirded out on me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I
Right.
told you so or I
Mm-hmm.
predicted this, but I did.
Well, I think no one knows for sure, right?
Yeah,
But I
that's a
think
problem.
there's definite warning signs you can see
Yeah,
that maybe you should not go in so fast.
yeah,
At least.
that's what I
Uh,
advised.
so,
I
anyways,
I mean I'm terrible at relationships, so
at the end of the day, it's their life though, and
yeah.
they have to figure it out for themselves
Mm-hmm.
to some degree. I think unless that person's physically in danger or potentially going to be in danger or
Yeah,
something, I would just allow them to let them make their own decisions,
yeah,
and hopefully maybe hopefully they ultimately become happy.
yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of times it's easy for people to look on the outside
Absolutely,
and see, and
absolutely.
then a lot of times I think like I said, there's women that aren't able to kind of see or kind of
Mm-hmm.
you know rationalize or list all the pros and cons of this person right away, and
Right.
sometimes they just see one or two things that they really like about them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really willing to ignore the rest, kind of,
Yeah.
or just kind of like do the mental gymnastics in their mind to say, "Oh, this might work out."
There is certainly a
Yeah,
rationalization process
yeah,
that they go through. Um, I think I learned my lesson.
yeah.
Just be supportive as possible.
Yeah, I think if you be supportive, I think you want, as a friend, you want what's best for them too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I mean, and so I think you got to help maybe guide them a little bit
yeah,
if you can
yeah.
ask questions like
Problem is that
that may help them.
sometimes people
Oh,
get resentful of you
yeah,
giving
yeah,
advice.
that's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you really feel they're in danger or something,
Mm-hmm.
you may have to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? You may have to risk that, but if not, though, it's their decision. Let them make their own choices. I think they can learn from that,
Yeah.
if anything, and hopefully they will learn from that.
And safe sex is always good.
Okay.
Just throwing that in there. I'm not speaking to
What do you mean
anyone.
safe sex though? Not getting the
Oh,
girl pregnant?
sorry. Safer.
So is butt sex good?
Safer sex. Safer.
Safer sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Oh, okay. Condom use is that what
Condom
you're
use. Yeah.
advocating?
I think that's a smart move, especially with.
I found the pull out method's always good.
Oh, was it? Was it good for you? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
It is. Um, anyways,
it's it's
I agree.
it's good till you pull out. But,
All right.
anywho, so that's one case
Uh huh.
of of the sort of the dangers, or not dangers, but like the pitfalls of middle age relationship
Well, it's
situations.
just like any other age.
Hmm.
It's tricky, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I think there are things you learn from it. I think hopefully you're older, you're a little wiser,
Yeah,
you know uh, some of the pitfalls to avoid.
yeah,
Hopefully, and I think also when you become at this age, you have a better idea of what's good for you, what's not, and
right.
maybe hopefully realistically who you really are, and you're not gonna you know try to be someone you're not. I think a lot of times people are looking for happiness, and they're willing to do whatever it takes sometimes,
Hmm.
and they're going to try to be someone they're not, just to get to find someone.
Yeah,
And so for me, I'm not willing to do that. I'm just like, I am going to be myself. I'm not going to just obviously you want to impress that person when you first meet them, maybe to some degree, but for the most part, I'm not going to flash around money like I'm some sort of pimp or something. I'm
yeah,
just who I am is just late. I don't have much money. I don't really care. I'm not that materialistic. I do value some things,
yeah. It's
but
clearly, I mean, the old adage,
yeah,
honesty is the best
yeah,
policy, works, I think.
right,
And I, and ultimately that's going to be the
hmm,
most satisfying, because
yeah,
if you find someone who accepts you for exactly who you are,
yeah,
then it's going to be a truly like understanding relationship.
right, exactly.
Um, so these are some serious wisdom that we're throwing out right now, don't you think?
I think so. I don't know.
some
Maybe
people,
some people
some
are.
people like Lauren will never listen, but
Well, I only wish her the best, and I don't know what's going on in the next
yeah,
steps of her dating life,
you
but
know,
I still wish her the best.
best of luck to all the Laurens out there in
Yeah,
the
I
world.
think there's a lot of people still looking
Oh,
around,
of
even in
course,
their
of course.
50s
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, all the
late
time.
40s.
Yeah,
Um, but I hopefully you're secure in yourself a little bit more now. Hopefully that and who is really compatible with you,
yeah.
who isn't.
Know thyself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for those important words, Dave. I'm sure.
Free advice for you, Dave.
Yeah,
Free advice to the people.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
anyways,
yeah. But
any questions, comments?
please like and subscribe for more
Yeah.
incredible help. This is not this is not any professional advice.